What would you do if the last phone call you ever made was the one that got you killed? This is the true story of a man who terrorized New York City for over a decade. A man who blended in perfectly with the crowds, someone no one suspected. He was charming, well-educated, even helpful. But behind that mask was a predator the media would one day call the last call killer. It started in the early 1990s. New York's nightlife was alive. Bars, clubs, and payphones on every corner. But soon, whispers spread through the city. Men were disappearing. Young, healthy men often last seen leaving bars in Manhattan. And then the bodies began to surface. Some were discovered near highways, others in remote wooded areas of New Jersey. Each case was brutal, but there was something even more disturbing. Every single victim had been seen making a call from a payphone, a call they would never finish. Police pieced together what little evidence they had. These weren't random attacks. The killer was organized, precise. He didn't leave fingerprints, he didn't leave hair, he didn't even leave a clear. Trail detectives noticed another chilling detail. The victims were all gay men. At the time, homophobia was rampant and investigators initially ignored the pattern. Many cases were brushed aside as unrelated. But the community knew someone was hunting them. The media finally gave him a name, the last call killer. Because each man had been seen after making a phone call, a final moment of normalcy before they vanished into the night. For nearly a decade, the case went cold. There were rumors, theories, but no arrests. The killer seemed untouchable. That's because he was hiding in plain sight. Richard Rogers, a nurse. Soft-spoken, intelligent, polite. By day, he worked at Mount Sinai Hospital. He was trusted by patients, respected by colleagues. To everyone else, he was just a quiet man who kept to himself. But behind closed doors, Rogers harbored dark urges. He meticulously planned his crimes, targeting men he met in bars. He'd lure them away, and they were never seen alive again. It wasn't until 2001, nearly 10 years after the first murders, that police finally got a break. DNA technology had advanced, and old evidence was re-examined. A cigarette butt and a coffee cup tied Rogers directly to the killings. When detectives raided his home, they found something horrifying. Boxes of souvenirs, photographs, personal belongings, chilling reminders of the lives he had taken. He had kept them hidden for years, trophies of the men whose last calls he had stolen. Richard Rogers was arrested, tried, and sentenced to life in prison. Today, he's still alive, serving time in New Jersey. And here's the part that will stay with you. Rogers was never suspected for almost a decade. While police searched desperately for a faceless killer, he was working as a nurse, helping patients, smiling at co-workers, all while knowing exactly what he'd done. So the next time you pass a stranger at night, remember, predators don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like the person who might save your life or end it.